Price. I am currently a faculty here in the Chemistry and Biochemistry department. My background is I started as a graduate student at Penn State University studying enzyme kinetics, and there I was introduced to a lot of ideas. One of the main things that I'm using now is mass spectrometry, that I can use it to interrogate what's happening in the body and understand very complex systems and how they change.
Very good. Would you just take time to now describe your invention in terms that a businessman maybe can understand, or a layperson?
Sure. So for this particular idea, what we've been looking at is lipids and the changes in lipids within a cell, a person. So our bodies are composed of several major groups. There's proteins, carbohydrates, and lipids. And they're used for a variety of different purposes in the cell. One of those purposes is signaling for cellular changes and cellular dynamics. And so we've been developing methods based on mass spectrometry to be able to follow how all of the different signaling events are changing in the body. And we've applied that specifically to pancreatic cancer because there's a heavy reliance on lipids for pancreatic cancer. And what we have observed is that there are a couple key pathways that are changed so that the signals are modified for these cancerous cells. That the body normally regulates these signals very carefully, and these cancer cells have modified those signaling events so that they are able to grow in an unchecked manner.
So essentially what you have discovered is a biomarker for pancreatic cancer?
Yeah, so it serves something as a biomarker. I tend to think that it's going to be more useful as a companion diagnostic, that by following the changes in lipid signals, you'll know whether your treatment is effective, but also in advance, you can identify drugs that are going to be most effective against individual cancers based on these perturbed lipid signals. And so as a proof of principle, we looked at sphingosine kinase activity, which is known to be an important player in driving cellular differentiation, cellular growth, and there's a key enzyme that is responsible for modifying these lipids. And so what we did was we monitored the lipid signaling while we were treating these cancer cells, and we observed that based on the relative perturbation of the signaling, we could anticipate how sensitive they would be to chemotherapy, and then when we inhibited the specific enzyme, whether that would increase their sensitivity or not.
So this could be used to actually monitor the success or lack of success of a therapy.
That's where we'd like to take it. So right now we're measuring it actually in the cells. The next stage is to measure it in the blood and in the urine or feces, and look to see whether we can monitor it there without actually sampling the tumor, because that's obviously very invasive. Right now it absolutely will work, but we require cells. And so it will work, but we want to be able to improve it further and monitor it through non-invasive means to see.
So do I also understand from you that the use of this lipid may slow down tumor growth?
So so this lipid is very important in the way that these cells are able to escape the normal controls that keep cancer from happening. And so by targeting this particular lipid, yes, we do take away the advantage that these cells have developed to become cancerous. The further, right, is by monitoring broadly, we can make sure that these cancers don't escape from this one method that we're trying to use to control them and develop a new means. Because one of the problems that you have when you're treating cancer is that they are always looking for new ways to escape control, either through chemotherapy or the body's own control, and be able to grow and proliferate rapidly. So we would be able to assess effect of an individual treatment and also watch for developments that cause it to, or that indicate that the cancer is moving in a different direction.
What is your appraisal of what this means for the future of pancreatic cancer diagnostic and therapy?
Yeah. So this is one of our current goals, is to be able to identify or stratify people based on the lipid signaling that we can observe. And obviously you don't want to be sampling pancreatic tissue for that. So we would look for changes in these signals, ideally in probably feces, because the pancreas is so important in dumping into the digestive system. And so it would be a very easy way to test and see what's happening in the pancreas based on these lipids.
Very good. Do you have anything to add? What your future work is going to be? What, if you haven't already mentioned it?
Yeah. So with this particular project, we also want to look at the rate that these lipids are being made and destroyed. So right now we're only looking at concentrations, but in other projects we have gotten very good at monitoring kinetics of change. And so we think that this will give us even more sensitivity, because the cells start modifying rates even in advance of concentrations changing. And so adding in this now dynamic aspect, or this kinetic aspect to the monitoring, will, I think, make it much more effective.